Good morning and welcome to the Monday Morning Marketing Podcast. I'm Esther.
And I'm Melanie.
And today we're talking about traditional marketing. Does it still have a place in the digital world?
I reckon so, but maybe that's because I'm old-fashioned.
Well, I didn't want to say it. Okay, so we're talking newspaper, we're talking TV, radio, print media, flyers, all of those, even business cards. I mean, I've seen a lot of people take their business cards online now. So is there still a need to be in someone's hand tangibly? Okay, so
I think so. We're very receptive human beings. We like a tangible, real thing, and I think it makes you more memorable as well. I mean, catchy tunes and whistles and that sort of stuff help, but using all the senses, I think there's still a place for it. I mean, very recently, I'm based in Mullingar, which is in the county of Westmeath in the Republic of Ireland. And they changed the car parking around here recently, so that the long-term car parking, some of it became short-term car parking, through loads of people locally. Anyway, I called the council offices and I said, lads, where was the notification of this? Oh, we put it in the papers. And I went, well, I don't read the papers. We put it on social media. And I went, I do social media for a living and I live locally. And I didn't hear anything about it. What's the story? And I'm sure they did put it in social, and I'm absolutely certain they put it in the papers. But I don't read the papers. I don't know many people who do, to be honest. Not of my age.
And we'll not say what age that is, but no, we're not that old.
But, I still think there's a place for it. And not just because it's... I think there's a supporting aspect to it, because the newspapers don't just have it on a tangible sheet of paper anymore. They have it online as well.
Most of them, like a large majority of them do.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're talking local newspaper. I'm
National?
up here. Yeah, I'm up here in County Down, Northern Ireland, and there's a newspaper that, well, it was always printed in the town, in the little village beside me here. It was always the running joke was always this week's paper for last week's news, because with being a local small town, you always heard about what was going to be in the paper before it even hit the print. But when you're talking national papers and daily papers, those that come out that are printed day by day, then you get different news articles and information from those. So we've both been featured in different newspaper articles, in different countries.
Wanted section. No.
So I've recently been in the Belfast Telegraph, and I've recently been in the Irish Times, just because I've answered journo requests on Twitter. So the journalists are using digital marketing and digital media to fulfill their traditional media needs. So it's always
interesting. What difference does it make, though? How is it actually helping people? Because, the temptation is to use just social media, isn't it, for every size and shape of business? And I think the reason for that is because it's free and it's something you can put up yourself. But,
But there's added clout. There's that added, somebody else wrote about me.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just me telling you what I do. It was somebody else. We're not just talking about placing an ad in the local newspaper or on the local radio station. It's you phoning up and getting interviewed because you're an expert in your field.
Somebody looking for you and thinking you're the person, the go-to. There's lots of different ways you can do it. I mean, there are preferred methods that people use. You can either approach the agency direct, or there's a tool called Media HQ. We're not affiliates; it's just one I've heard of. And you can purchase an entry point to Media HQ. This is here in Ireland, in the Republic of Ireland. I don't know if it works everywhere, but definitely here you can.
Yeah, and I know in the United States there's a hashtag help a journalist out. So it's Harrow.
Harrow.
Yeah, Hajo. Help a journalist out. Hajo. Yeah, Hajo, something like that. So
how does that sound like Harrow?
It all depends on the accent you have. But it's international. There are ways and means of reaching out, and seeing what journalists want to write about, and then you offering up yourself as the expert in that field. So
do you have to pay for it though?
No.
So if you become the desired go-to, they come to you, and you don't have to pay for it.
Yeah, I mean, there's a difference between that and sending in a write-up about your most recent piece of work, or if you ran an online event, obviously recently, if you sent in a press release about that, then you might have to pay for it. If you want to advertise, you obviously have to pay for that. But if they come to you for a snippet, whether it's just a one line, what's your opinion on XYZ, then that's free advertising for you as well. And, not everybody might go and buy the paper, but I know when I was in it, I bought the paper.
And so did your mum.
She can't. She's in Scotland. She can't buy the Belfast Telegraph.
But, we wanted to highlight the importance of these other traditional media. I mean, I know we're both in the social media sector, but there is still an important place for it. And social media is just an element of marketing. It's not the be all and end all of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's, flyers door to door. I mean, a lot of people do not like that.
No.
But if your local council had sent something out to your letterbox, you would have seen it.
Yeah. And sponsored events, actually having, being a sponsor of an event or speaking, it's still traditional media, it's still traditional marketing. I mean, if you were to get a PR specialist, and there's numerous ones in each country, so it's not fair to sort of highlight one.
But we do know a good one if you need one.
We do know a really good one. So if you want somebody in the Republic of Ireland, in fact, I think she does Northern Ireland as well.
I think she does, yeah.
Yeah. Then do let us know, because she's like the best.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, so, there's a really important place for using other mediums. And you've got to appreciate that not all of your audience is going to have access to the same platforms that you do. And
exactly.
It's the amount of times I have people say to me, but I'm so worried, I'm putting up all these posts and, I'm seeing them all the time. And I was like, well, of course you're seeing them all the time. They're your posts. But, nobody else is seeing them as frequently as you. And, you've got to be mindful of that. And even when they do see them, sometimes they don't actually see them because they're thinking of something else at the time. So that's why it's important to have your fingers in like all these other little pies. And I don't think for a second that traditional marketing is dying. Not for a second.
No, print is alive and well. And whether that's going and getting your business cards printed off and, handing them to someone when we can finally meet in person again, it's that tangible, that's where I met that person. That's where
it becomes a memory, doesn't it?
It does. And I personally write on business cards where I met the person, at what event, and whether they stood out, whether they were wearing red shoes, or, what it was that made me take their business card. Because you're not just
I was thinking the minute you said that.
Yeah, you see?
Yeah.
It works.
We're going to have to get her on the podcast at some stage.
Oh, we will. Well, now we're just going off on a tangent here.
Yeah, sorry. But, don't ignore and don't preclude in your budget traditional marketing. It doesn't matter what line of business you are, small or medium or large. It doesn't matter what size brand you are. There is a place for it. And you don't have to always pay for it either. If you're going with a good hook, I'm a journalist, so I get people sending me stuff in pictures all the time. And if you come in with a good hook and it's come at a desirable time and, there's a relevance, then it will happen.
Absolutely. And you also have taught me previously that because your audience, or, the people that you want to help with your training and online marketing, are all local, then you have advertised on the local radio.
Absolutely. Yeah, I've done it a couple of times actually. So radio still works, and it's not as expensive as you think it might be actually. But I do think all of it needs to be supported with other things. I tell people social media shouldn't be done in isolation, and none of these should be done in isolation. It's all to do with strategy. It's all to do with planning, and understanding where you're trying to bring people through your promotional sales funnel.
Yes, definitely. And on that note, that's it for today, guys. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us. We'll be back next week with more Monday Morning Marketing podcasts. Bye-bye.
Bye.